It's true what they say. Nothing will quite prepare you for becoming a parent. That's not particularly helpful. It never gives you the comfort you hope it will. This letter is not necessarily here to provide that comfort either. Truthfully, I don't really know what it intends to do yet. Maybe it's the ramblings of a tired dad, listening to the Frozen soundtrack for the 15th time this week. Maybe it's something more. Maybe this letter is for the dad-to-be, the dad who is lost, the dad who has everything figured out. I'm still waiting to meet someone who is the latter. The struggle of choosing what you think best never goes away, and you'll never know what the right decision is in the moment. Even in hindsight, your head can be consumed with the what ifs and the maybes. You only have to look at the generations before us. Listen to the stories of regret, or even hear the silences of reflection to know this much. A perfect dad doesn't exist. It would be hard to find a template of what a perfect dad might even look like. And even if we had one, how many of us would agree on it? Some days even contemplating the idea of being a good enough dad feels unattainable. Yet it's something we constantly ask ourselves and strive toward, never knowing if enough is enough. There is no universal sign for when this all starts. It could be the moment of conception, the first or second or third trimester. It could be the very moment you hold your child in your arms, feeling like your whole world is focused completely on that tiny human face. Almost like a spotlight. Just you, just them. The rest of the world in complete darkness. Those sounds around you beating into one hum of noise. Those feelings to protect, nurture, teach, washing over you in a wave that feels so heavy, it leaves you over-encumbered, burdened. How long these feelings last is unique to the person, of course. They may never come at all. And that can cause problems of its own, especially when everyone assumes you must feel it. What hits next is different. Reality. If you're lucky, the baby is fine, mum is fine. Life can meander its way to a new normal. Sometimes you don't get the best case scenario, but it almost doesn't matter. The result is still the same. The hospital lights don't dim. They blind you with the harsh realization that your role has changed, ready or not. Welcome to the world, Dad. The feelings that come over you are hard to explain, but most likely they're rooted in fear and pride. Two completely contrasting emotions that are, and will forever be, in a constant state of flux. The pride is there for the most obvious reasons. You have done it. Your partner has done it. You have created life. There's an abundance of pride for the baby too, simply arriving into this world. Thankfully, the pride never really leaves. Their first smile, first words, first steps. Further down the line when they start to ask questions and you can see their little cogs turning, trying to understand the world around them. When they start school, make, break, and sustain their first relationships, start families for themselves. There is no end to the pride. Hold on to it while you can. You want to remember it. Because unfortunately, we both know that hiding in the shadow of pride lives fear. This fear feels different though. It has a pulse. It sinks its teeth in like a leech, reluctant to let go. And the consequences come with it. You get told about them constantly, over and over, by family, by friends, by strangers, social media, other parents, people who mean well. Your own fear is not enough. You're handed it. You hear it in throwaway lines like, you don't want them turning out like that. It comes disguised as the shoulds, the ifs, the buts, the quiet threats that sit inside casual advice. What happens to your child if you don't somehow conjure all of this into your own being? The fear hides behind generations of family trauma, or behind hope. Wanting to be better than your own parents, not live out the same mistakes, or even just wanting to be half as good enough. And what if you're not? It sounds incredibly dramatic, but it's real. It's real because it doesn't belong to you. It just exists. The fear is for them, your children. That quiet understanding that now, for the first time ever, whatever you do, the decisions you make directly affects them. And suddenly, we're in a constant state of survival, for them and for ourselves. Fight or flight. And the role you choose becomes the man you become. How do you control that fear so it doesn't become all-consuming? Maybe you latch onto your job, not because you love it, but because there is security in it, consistency, a system you understand, something that makes sense. Consistency isn't something that comes with child rearing, and that's scary. Maybe you take control of the household, the environment, the routine, forcing some kind of consistency into a world that won't give you any. But how much is too much? Do you stay silent and pray that things will be okay? Keep faith that what will be will be. Bury your head in your phone, trying to forget the world around you that is revolving and time is ticking by. Waiting for that fleeting moment where fear disappears for a split second. Maybe nodding and saying, yeah, is enough. Being the sponge, absorbing the pressure. Too fearful to say anything because you don't know the outcome or the cost. Shrugging things off, not through acceptance, but by succumbing to helplessness. It is what it is. Or do you play the exaggerated version of who you're supposed to be? The pretender, the composed one, the confident one, the mask that says everything is okay, that you've got a handle on it. If you look happy, then surely everyone else around you can finally breathe. While inside, you're fighting the urge to give in to doubt. You're paddling just to keep afloat. And the funny thing is, you get praised for it. You get praised for silence, praised for coping, praised for strength, praised for working harder. Meanwhile, there are times you get punished for needing help. This feels like the trap you inevitably fall into. Weight of fatherhood is heavy, and often misunderstood. Of course, there is no question about the difficulties and the pressures of motherhood. There is no comparison. Not because one carries more weight than the other, but because the weight is different. There is almost an expectation that mothers are expected to struggle. Fathers, on the other hand, are expected to cope. How's the missus doing? How's dad life? Getting your sleep in? I remember moments staring down at my phone, replying to those messages and seeing social media comments of congratulations and hearts and emojis. Feeling frozen. None of them felt like they were meant for me. That spotlight comes back. The world around you just dimming. The sound of the screaming baby becoming an echo. Looking up at the mum. And for a second, it's like she's reflecting back everything I'm trying to grapple with. Confusion, feeling lost, and some panic for good measure. My thumbs decide to type something else. Yeah, all good thanks, mate, we're surviving. They feel like appropriate responses, almost natural ones. But what are the honest ones? Actually, it's the most incredibly difficult and mind-bending thing that's ever happened to me, and I've got no idea what I'm doing. I feel like a completely different person now. Or something along those lines. But you don't say that, because the honest answers don't fit in the small talk. It is safer to keep up the performance of who you should be, the role you are meant to be playing. What you actually want people to ask is completely different. What can I help you with? Or how are you coping with all that pressure? It gives you a chance for honest feedback, a chance to break the assumptions, the expectation that everything is okay, that you're managing. The truth is, you've gained the identity of dad. What gets missed is that the other roles and identities take a backseat. You are still you, but no one asks about that part anymore. It may even start to feel less important. You may get the occasional invite out with some mates, for a drink or a game or something normal. But what gets overlooked is the guilt that it carries. You don't say, "I'm going out." You ask. You ask for permission because you believe deep down it is wrong. Maybe you don't deserve it. Maybe you haven't earned it. And you really know, that your partner deserves 1,000 times more rest than you do. You walk through the door and the baby is crying. Mummy's looking exhausted. And even if no one says it, you feel guilty for being the one who got to leave. So you go out. But you're not fully there. You check your phone, watching the time, half listening, pretending you're having a great time. And if you stay home, you're wondering exactly what you're missing out on. Not because you're selfish, but because you still remember what it felt like to be you. There is no win here. There is no real loss either. Just something different. A new role to contend with. Maybe over time it becomes easier to negotiate. You find a rhythm. You stop feeling like every decision has a moral weight attached to it. Do the feelings go away? Maybe. Have you grown into that role of dad? In some ways, absolutely. In others, you still don't know where the old you is supposed to go. And there sits the sense of loss of that version you used to be or wanted to be. The role of dad is not quite what you expected. But you're here, learning and growing, navigating your way through the dark and ever-changing tides. And most days, the only clue for direction is whatever you inherited, whether it is healthy or not. Don't get me wrong, it's the best and most rewarding role, and it brings moments of joy that nothing comes close to. Yes, I've sat here and listened to the 16th repeat of the Frozen soundtrack, but the conviction in her karaoke performance is genuinely inspiring. There is no end to the small victories. A tantrum-free day, a teenager coming to you for some advice, the sighs of relief and the innocence of admiration you receive from a child. And if you get it right, hopefully the admiration turns into respect as they grow, that it follows them into adulthood. And that's it, we can hope. But what also needs to be said is this: fatherhood can, and often does, come at a cost. The Christian remains what feels good enough for you. Good enough that the role of dad can bring you more moments of peace than fear. A good enough dad might look like working endlessly until burnout, because you know financially your children and family will be supported for the foreseeable future. A good enough dad might be the opposite. Putting work at the bottom of the priority list, believing that time is the most valuable currency. A good enough dad might be somewhere between those two, or something different entirely. Maybe it's modeling what it means to be strong, or resilient, or caring, or emotionally available, or tough, or selfless, or confident, or all of the above and more. Maybe good enough isn't about doing it perfectly. Maybe it is about the sacrifice, the invisible daily kind. The kind you don't notice until you become the one making it. Whatever you choose, you will question it. There will always be more you could do. As long as you're okay in the knowledge that that's okay. You are enough. After all, it is what it is.